Paranoid Radio.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Paranoid. Tell me, boy.
Testicles 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the humble host of this amazing show, Trebles Garcia. Thank you so much for joining us again. And this show is the best show with the best content for the best listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the beginning of the month, and I have an amazing episode lined up for you guys. As you already know, we got our deep state correspondent, our fucking rising star. He's carrying us on his fucking back. And he's fucking back today. Flash from Flash_News1 Instagram page, and now growing. He is going to start his own podcast soon, so stay tuned to that shit. Flash, let them know where they can find you. Tell them a little bit about yourself for the people that are just tuning in and do not know you.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Flash. I'm over at Flashy_News1 on Instagram. I just post daily shit talk, really daily rants, talking about current events, talking about my point of views, putting things together that people won't, talking about things the media refuses. I'm in upstate New York, small business owner. I'm a patriot. I'm not a partisan. And man, we just got to get the truth out. That's the best we can do right now.
That's right. And you have had an explosion of growth. I want to congratulate you on that and celebrate with you all the freaking trials that you've gone through with the social media shit and the growth that you're having right now. You're experiencing the massive waves of people just coming, not only liking and interacting with you, but following you. And it's going to become a wave, dog. And I told you, got to take advantage of that wave and ride it with the surfboard and, kick ass, dog. You're doing 100%. A great job.
And yeah, it's like, it's almost blood, sweat, and tears. You feel like, you put all this time and effort, and then they censor you, or they, knock your following down, or, I wasn't reaching anybody forever. I was getting like 40 views on my videos, but I was still putting it out there consistently, the same amount I am now. I hadn't changed once, because I'm not doing it for the likes or even like that. If I could just change one person's mind or get one person to look at something differently and then go tell their friend about it, like that shit spreads like a virus, and just like evil spreads, good can spread too. And that's all Absolutely. I'm trying to do, bro.
And you're doing an amazing fucking job, and I cannot wait to see where you're gonna be headed, dog. I'm fucking happy for you. Like I was mentioning to our colleague and friend, fellow patriot, also JB from the Fellow Academy, Rogue One Media, another patriot that he had ups and downs, and now he's doing great with his media shit. He's gonna be bringing us the Galactic Report on the next episode. I have a lot of friends that are in the show, that are in the podcasting business, that started after me, and now they're blown up more than we are now. I mean, we're still humbled, and we're still honored that you guys are fucking, still looking upon us and fucking spending time with us, spending time with our listeners, even though we're not that big. But dog, I want to fucking thank you for being and spending this time with me and on the show.
Of course, bro. You guys are big to me, man. You guys gave me a platform where no one else would. So I'm loyal.
That's what's up, dog. Thank you so much. And it's mutual. Now, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let me jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the fucking mood, because we're going to strike with iron. It's fucking hot. Left, right, knocked out. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of shit going on, and talking about censorship, talking about all the fucking bullshit that's happening around the fucking world. There's so much. So just to give you guys a brief little topic, a little intro to what we're going to be talking about. These are the 4 or 5 things that we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to give the whole platform to JB from to Flash from Flash_News1. We're going to be discussing the border crisis and the 85,000 people, kids, not people. These are just kids, not counting the older people that got lost. We're talking about the 85 kids that were missing. Where the fuck are the kids, Biden? 85,000 fucking kids lost at the border and counting. And the thing is this it's not that they're counting and they're just missing. These kids now are being thought out and being exposed by whistleblowers that used to work for certain fucking government agencies. Please fill them in, Flash.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what's so important about gaining the house back. And I know, we expected to get more seats and everything like that, but that's really, that's really here and there, here or there. It's what's important is that we got the majority, and this is why, because now whistleblowers feel comfortable coming to a majority of the Republicans. When we were in the minority, there's not really a lot you can do. Even when a whistleblower comes to you, it's up to the majority and the chairs of each committee to hear those whistleblowers or not. And so now people are being heard, and this is what's so important about watching. I download C-SPAN app. I suggest everybody go get it if you're interested. It's just a live camera of the committee hearings, no opinions, no nothing. It's just what the people are talking about right there. That's where you get the best information. So recently we had one where this lady who volunteered actually to work for HHS, the Human Services and Health Services, and DHS. And she was involved in processing and in the whole, and just doing really paperwork. And so she's blowing the whistle now. She's a Democrat herself, so this isn't a partisan issue. This isn't a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a humanitarian issue. And she came and very passionately. I'm sure people have seen it by now. It's pretty much everywhere you can find it. I'll put it on my story after this for sure, so people can see it. So what she talked about really was just how, so we got all these kids coming here. And when they come here, they have wristbands on them with different colors, and and all of this means is stuff for the cartel. We have no idea what it means. We could try to piece things together, and a lot of kids that they have numbers in their pockets, like little phone numbers. So they come here, we process them. A lot of them are unaccompanied. They come here with nobody. People, either the parents get killed on the way. Who knows where all these kids are coming from? How they're really even getting here. So once they're here, we call that number. Whoever picks up, they come down. They say, "I'm the sponsor for this child." Now, what the policy used to be under Trump was that we would put them in cages, which was actually just detention centers, until we can prove that the person picking them up was related to them with a DNA swab.
Legit.
So that's the only reason why kids were in cages. It wasn't because we were separating. No, we were trying to find out who these kids belong to. Okay, so now when the Biden administration came in, they wanted to act like those policies were inhumane and, oh my God, they were, Trump is the worst, he's racist. Now what their policies are. Now look at the humanitarian crisis because of their policies. So now what's happening is there's no checks and balances. So they don't want the appearance of kids in cages. So what they're doing is just processing them as fast as possible. It's just like in and out. Let's go.
Are they releasing these kids, or what's happening?
So what happens? So they come, they call this number, the people come, they pick them up. They pretty much take them at their word. There's no background checks on the people.
Just a court date.
And that's it. Yeah, just a court date. But you don't have to prove that you even know this kid. So 9 out of 10 times these kids don't even know the person that's picking them up, and the person's just like, "Oh no, I talked to your mom, I talked to your aunt, whatever." And a lot of times these kids speak a different dialect. They speak a Mayan dialect. So they don't even speak Spanish. They're from like Guatemala and Honduras, like in the mountains. Like it's a completely different. So they don't understand anybody. The kids are 8 years old. 10, 11. So now what happens is they go with this sponsor, and that's it. There's no checks and balances. There's no checking in on them. So now, the report is 85,000. I mean, that's just what this lady knows of within the 1 year of working there. So
get the fuck out. 1 year.
85,000. Right. And that's just this year. And then it's already
this motherfucker has been in power for 4 years.
Right.
Jesus.
And there's already over 7 million illegal immigrants have come here already. And, it's at least 1 million unaccompanied children. So, doing the math, it's astronomical, the numbers. You can't even fathom it, really. So what happens is, so these kids, right? So the 85 grand. So now it's
almost strategic. It's like a strategic
100%.
invasion, and then a strategic processing, trafficking, I want to say, of kids.
That's exactly what it is. And now where these kids end up mostly is, so now what she's blowing the whistle on is that they're ending up working in labor houses and warehouses all across the country, midnight shifts. So nobody sees
US.
In the United States. And, a lot of these places are ran by China, like a lot of the slaughterhouses are like, Tyson Food Company, all these companies are actually owned by China that work here. So now, and this is what Biden's doing by flying all these kids all over the country. Remember that a couple of years ago, that he was flying migrant children all over the country. Nobody knew what was going on. This is child labor. This is child slavery. This is child slavery, and it's child slave labor. And it's also sex trafficking. So a lot of these kids, so not only do they end up in doing that with the work, they also end up in the sex, because they have to pay back the cartels that got them here. So that's really what it's all about, is that you have to pay back the cartel. So they're selling themselves for cheap labor, sex. And that's just like that one girl that came here. She was 8 years old. She had 67 different DNA strands inside of her because she got raped by 67 different men.
How old was this girl?
Here, You know what I mean? And it's hard to say and it's hard to talk about, but it's like this is what's happening.
I
And
have two
nobody
daughters, bro. I have two daughters, bro. I have a baby that just turned 1 on Sunday. Like this is I cannot fathom 67 different people. Can you identify these people? And no. Better yet, can you put a cap on this happening to other kids? I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always talked about, I'm a very conspiracy theorist and very mystic type of person. But the movie, The Campaign, funny movie by Will Ferrell and the guy from Hangover. They run a campaign and they sell districts of different parts of the eastern part of the U.S. and they sell it to Chinese governments, Chinese companies. I'm sorry, and they plan to have immigrants from China and other countries come and work in those companies and then exclude US so they could pay them cheap labor, et cetera, et cetera. They exaggerated it. But what's happening today is what that movie foretold. And it's not just that fucking movie. And it's not just the fucking kids. It's the fact that it's like I told you, it's almost an strategic invasion of the US and corruption and making sure that the collapse is a lot more faster and we cannot repair so that the next president that comes in cannot repair the entire system. Somehow, some way it's going to stay broken. Fucking crazy.
That's the plan. Destabilization, right? You like in order to take over a country without firing a shot, you destabilize it. I mean, and this is one of the ways is destabilizing our culture and our society. And that's not knocking these people that are trying to come here. They're being used as pawns. And then so in this whole way of, this open border policies, and it's what's so crazy is how they treated Trump's policies compared to how the media and everybody's treating Biden's as this is somehow more humane because, more people are coming here in the way that they're coming. The cartels are getting rich. I mean, they're making billions and billions of dollars. And now it's very telling that the Democrat Party refuses, and the establishment Republican Party refuses to label the drug cartels as terrorist organizations. Because if we actually did that, if we labeled them, because they are terrorist organizations, not just with the fentanyl that's killing 100,000 Americans, not with with obviously everything that's going on with the sex trafficking, with all of it. I mean, everything that they do, they're more of a terrorist organization than probably ISIS or anybody else to us right now. You know what I mean? What is ISIS doing to us? I mean, really? So so if we were able to do that, we would be able to follow the money, we'd be able to tap the phones, we'd be able to do military operations inside of Mexico, and we would be able to connect the dots. Anybody working with the cartel would be known as a sympathizer of terrorists. We'd be able to go after them. So this is why they won't do that, because the Democrat Party is working hand in hand. They have to be. These non-government organizations like that Soros has, these open society organizations, they're really who run that whole operation down there. They go in there, they give humanitarian aid, and everything's free, and it's billionaires fund these things, and then so
it's a huge money grab. Each kid is a money grab.
Yeah. And so now what they're doing now is that they're actually overcharging the migrants. So what these NGOs do is they buy up all the bus tickets from the bus company, and then they go and sell it to the migrants. So they don't even let them go directly to the bus company. They're like a middleman, and then they charge them 10, 20 bucks more than the actual thing it is. And they do the same thing with the hotels. They go get the hotels to make a deal.
I've seen it happen.
And then they charge the migrants even more. And then now you got migrants going in, and then they're actually running out the back door, so they don't have to pay the tab. Like, this is what's going on in America, It's
okay. So before we get to the America part, I did the math, and I have a couple friends down there. Okay, it's about $3,000 to get Mexican papers. Anybody can do it. You walk in there with the right people. It's about $3,000 US to get Mexican papers. And I'm talking about legit stamped. Yeah. But who controls the fucking Mexican government? The fucking cartels do. That's out in the open. The amount of corruption that the United States hides from the public is the amount of corruption they put out to the public. It's very open that the cartels run everything in Mexico. And I'm talking shit about the cartels. I'm talking facts here. $3,000, you get a fucking, you get a Mexican passport. You're a regular civilian with a different accent. Doesn't matter what you look like. You're Mexican. All right, bro. You get to the border. You go to the border. You ask for asylum. All right, now this is just how it's being used. So now you owe $3,000 to the whoever got you the paperwork, right? To the cartel, and then they transfer you from, let's say, area B, let's say Guatemala, to the border of it's Little Texas, right? It's about $5,000, and now $5,000 to pay the next person to take you home. So it's about 15 grand to 20 grand to get a person here. That person's already in debt. 20 grand by the time they get to the US border. Check this out. Then the US border picks up and then they pick up right where you left off. They fucking come and they start giving you aid. They start giving you obvious medical fucking attention, right? They start paying you for your hotels and they give you a fucking number. That's almost kind of like the social number that they say, if you don't go to court and you don't start paying this amount, sometimes they even put a bracelet. I have fucking homies that have fucking family members that came in with bracelets still to this day. And they're over fucking $80,000 in debt with all the fees and shit. So it's plus the people that they have to pay down south the border. You see what I'm saying? You see what's happening? And they have no other reason than to run away, overstay, don't go to the courts, and then start freaking working under the table. Cash. Another sort of fucking raping the system. And it's not their fault. It's because they're put in this fucking position. We've talked about this. It's fucking crazy, dog. So 85,000 kids fucking lost, not only lost, but countless, even more unfathomable numbers that are working in sweatshops in the United States of America. Dog, we have pushed all our labor, all our main manufacturing companies to China so kids could fucking build this shit. And now they're building it in home. This is insane. Now we're importing the kids to do this shit in home. This is not a fucking lie. Hashtag look it up. Biden, where the fuck are the 85,000 kids? And I'm saying Biden because his entire administration is involved. It's fucking crazy. What it is.
I mean, it's all policy. It's all ideology-driven policy. Policy is driving idea, and vice versa. You don't even know what the difference is anymore.
Let me ask you something. Did Biden lose a son at war? I'm not sure.
No, that's like a lie that he tells. His son died of cancer. And he was a lawyer in the Navy. He never won a war. Never fired a shot. He was a lawyer. He was a lawyer.
Because I would think, oh, they shot my son at war. I want revenge against the country. I will find it reasonable why he hates us so fucking much.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's the thing, bro. You know, and I was thinking today in the car, like, you know, a huge problem is all of these Congress people and presidents, they all swear an oath on the Bible, right, to protect the Constitution. But who are they swearing to? These people don't believe in God.
They don't give a fuck.
These people are godless, and maybe they weren't in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like I think a lot of them get into it for the right reasons, you know. And I think even Joe Biden, if you look at some of his speeches early on, you know, he was probably in it for the right reasons, you know. And this is what's so important about term limits, is because the longer these motherfuckers stay in the swamp, the more likely they are to become a creature. Like that's just what it is. You know, it's human nature. You know, like power corrupts absolutely. You know, and money too. So now you got all these people, and anytime a shady politician gets a book deal, that's money laundering. Nobody's fucking buying Bernie Sanders' fucking guide to how to give people away your money. You know,
or the Fauci book. No one's buying that shit.
Like that's the way to pay people off. It's a way. Absolutely. You think fucking Joe Biden got 3 mansions because he's a brilliant book writer? Like, honestly, you know, do you think Hunter Biden is an amazing artist and that's how they got these millions of dollars? I mean, it's the most obvious shit. And you know what? And to me, it has to be this way. And I keep saying that because now this whole thing with the Epstein came out, that Epstein was meeting with the current CIA director back in 2008, but after the arrest of him soliciting minors for prostitution. So these people knew that Epstein was raping kids and we're still meeting with him. And it's interesting because the CIA director Burns, who's the CIA director now, was at the time the deputy state. He worked as at the State Department. He was the deputy in charge. So he was in that position of power, meeting with Jeffrey Epstein after knowing Jeffrey Epstein was a child rapist. So why would they be doing that? It's so obvious now that Epstein was Mossad, was Israel special intelligence. Or, you know,
and they use blackmail in order to keep these people fucking quiet for the
blackmail
and money, obviously.
That's it. And it was all about blackmail. That whole island was about blackmail. And that's why we haven't seen the client list. Because if you just look so now it's crazy that they even put this out. It was like the Wall Street Journal did it too, which is like a very establishment, kind of conservative, but they're doing it because now these people are in positions of power right now. So there's no hiding from this. Now, if Joe Biden was president, or if this guy, the CIA Burns, wasn't the CIA director, they would just scurry on, you know, like all these other people that met with him. Like nobody cares. Like, okay, whatever. But these people are in positions of power. There's no running from this. The spotlight's on you now. Now we see you. You know what I mean? Like you can't go run. You can't go run and hide behind a lawyer. No. They're gonna have to start answering some hard fucking questions, yo. And the American people are getting a dose of reality. You know, all these people that you know, these are all these people's heroes. All the left's heroes turn out to be fucking pedophiles. Like it's just what it is.
Quite honestly, I call them double D's, dirty Democrats, these politicians in the system right now. But talking about Democrats, bro, there is a Democrat that's catching a lot of wave, and there's reports coming in that he's gonna make a fucking difference. And unfortunately, a lot of people, I want you to tell me your theory, but there's a lot of people speculating that he's just gonna fucking run with this speech and run with this ideology, and when he gets into office or closer to office, he'll switch back to being a double D, to being a dirty Democrat. RFK, first of all, I need you to let me know, who is he? What's this line of lineage of people that he comes from? And then what do you think is going to happen? Because it's running wild, bro. Everybody's talking shit about this.
Yeah. So, okay. So Bobby Kennedy was his dad who was assassinated. And then his uncle was obviously John F. K., the president that was assassinated. So, he comes from good stock. And I say all the time that this Democrat Party isn't Kennedy's Democrat Party anymore. It's not even Bill Clinton's Democrat Party anymore. Who knows what it is now? But I think, knowing RFK, like I followed his work for a long time because he's very skeptic of vaccines. I wouldn't even call him an anti-vaxxer because, he's admitted that some vaccines are good, and that's true. Some vaccines are, but he has been on this shit. He's never held public office before. He's never been in politics per se. He's always been around it, but he's always just been a dog against big pharma. Like that's it. Like he's just always been that dude, bro. And as far as like where he politically aligns, he's like a moderate. Like he's considered right wing now, probably. Like to the media, but he really is. He probably is a true Democrat.
They paint him like that. They paint him very right.
Yeah. I mean, and like a true liberal is if you look up the word, it's open mindedness and like willing to change your mind about stuff. And he's very much like that. He's against the trans stuff in sports. He's against all the right things, and he's just really a bulldog for big pharma. And I think that's why they're not going to let this guy get close to being the president. There's no way. You know what I mean? I think that they'll take him out before that. But I think his best bet is challenge Joe Biden. What's crazy is he's already being censored on ABC and all these other news stations that are having him on because he's talking about the direct link between autism and the vaccination rate, how that both have increased over time. And he has scientific proof. The man knows what he's talking about, and then they actually cut that whole segment out of his interview on ABC. He actually put out that that's actually against the law because you can't censor a presidential candidate that way. You can't censor his interview. So he knows what he's doing. I mean, as far as if he got into office, what he would do, he's been seen with a lot of deep state people. He's been, but so is Trump. Do you know what I mean? So because they're
so your theory is, dude. Okay, so is this? I need you to explain this to me. If the dude runs for office against Trump, and let's say he loses, because he will, Trump is going to be the main man again. Can he switch to the red, and can he run with Trump as VP? Can he do that?
So the way it could happen is I think this is probably likely is he's going to go, he's going to drop out of the primaries. Biden's going to beat him. You know what I mean? He's not going to get enough notes. So once he drops out of the primary, then he's up for grabs. Trump could absolutely pick him and anybody else for that matter as his VP. It does not have to be a Republican. It would be the first time. It was, I think, maybe the first time in history that would be a split ticket, RD, Republican, Democrat.
Okay.
And it would be smart because Kennedy has the name recognition. He is a Democrat. You know what I mean? And he actually identified. A lot of Democrats identify with him just because he's more moderate. He's more in the middle. He's for Democrat causes, but he's more like for socialist or welfare and stuff like that. And that's fine, whatever. But and I think he can actually open a lot of ears about the vaccine stuff because he's very knowledgeable about it. He knows what the fuck he's talking about, and he's asking the right questions. And then his ideas that he wants to do, he wants to nationalize the pharmaceutical industry, which might not even be a bad idea, because if you take the profit away from the pharmaceutical industry, maybe it'll actually be into actually helping people. The only problem with nationalizing is that the government will control it and everything the government touches turns to shit. So
that's the other side. Yeah.
So, who knows what the answer is, but I mean, the man's saying the right things for sure.
Plus, who the fuck are the Democrats gonna run? They have no one. You're gonna put fucking Hillary again? Hillary Clinton? Who you can drop on the blue side to run?
I really honestly think that Biden is not going to make it to the debates to debate Trump. I mean, because honestly, I mean, even the last ones, everything that Trump said, even though it was true, Biden was able to say, "Oh, that's not true. It's fake news. Oh, look at the 51 intelligence
man.
That it was Russian disinformation." You know what I mean? Ridiculous. And then he was able to say that because we didn't have the proof. But now everything Trump accused Biden of is 1,000% proven true. And not only that, we have evidence to suggest all of it, sworn affidavits. We got the laptop from hell that we all know is true now. That was his one big defense, was that, oh, the laptop is Russian disinformation. Now we find out that thing was a whole fucking setup, that to come out to say that it was Russian disinformation, and then they censored it online. That absolutely changed the outcome. Even though they stole it, it still changed. It was able for them to steal enough votes. If that was able to come out, that story, they would have not have been able to steal enough votes to win, because like 25% of people said that they still wouldn't have voted for Biden if they found out about that. Like, that's fucking crazy, bro. It's really scary.
Are debates giving? Are the questions and the answers? Are they giving to them like the little pamphlet he had on the fucking that video that popped up? Is it? Are the debates like that? Are they ready for those questions, or is it just rapid fire random questions?
So it's supposed to be, so there was actually a big thing about this back when Hillary Clinton was debating Trump. The moderator, I forget her name, she works for Fox. She's a Democrat though. She actually gave Hillary some of the questions beforehand, and it was like a big deal. So normally, no, like you don't get that, like, and I'm sure that they would help Biden as much as possible. But that's the thing, is like, you can't even talk to a reporter now without having a note card. Do you know what I mean? Like, he needs to know the questions there. So that's why I don't think they're going to let him get to the debates. They're going to pull him from that. They'll probably martyr him somehow, sickness or whatever. And then, it's looking like they might sneak Michelle Obama in there. They could go with, Gavin. I don't think they'll go with Gavin Newsom though, man.
I heard he wanted to take a little flight. Yeah, I heard he wanted to take a flight.
But I mean, I just don't see people like in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania voting for him. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and they can only steal so many votes. And now that we know how they did it, it's really important, And now what's scary now is that you see the left coming for the Supreme Court. Now they're trying to delegitimize that because they wanted to pack it, first of all, but they didn't have the public opinion behind them. Now they're trying to delegitimize it with Clarence Thomas, the African-American conservative justice that was like, he's like the fucking best justice that we have, for our cause. And they're coming after him because he had dinner with one of his rich friends, or he went on vacation, and it looks bad or something like that.
It looks like he was getting paid vacation time.
Ridiculous. They all have rich friends. Like, we're really gonna start doing that now. We're gonna hold people to that kind of stuff. Like, come on, really? So
it's just to get fucking stories and people to fucking tune into Fox and shit, because no one's tuning into the mainstream media now. Talking about mainstream media, I want to end this fucking segment, this show, with this conversation. Tucker Carlson, right? That's his name. Dog, what happened? What the fuck? Okay, fill me in, because what I found out was he was talking shit. I found some of the videos on TikTok where he's talking a lot of shit. He's like, you know what? This and that. And he even said it. I regret ever fucking going blue. Like, he was on a podcast called, I think, Send Boys, aren't what they're called. He had an exclusive interview where he was talking shit about his own self and how regretful it was for him to freaking do things the way he was doing them for the media, for the money.
Yep.
So what happened with this guy? And something about BlackRock? Who owns what? What's going on?
So, quick thing on Tucker. I think Tucker got a big fat red pill recently, because he's always been kind of the counter narrative guy. He gets some stuff wrong, asks the tough questions. And even on Fox itself, he actually was against a lot of the narratives that even the other Fox hosts were talking about. Like, especially in Ukraine. That's like when I think things started turning for him, because he started really pushing back on Ukraine. They started calling him a Russian puppet, and they were going after him because he was asking, like, where's the aid going? Like, Zelensky's a dictator. Like, what are we doing? He was really the only host talking about that. That got him in a lot of trouble for sure. And then he started asking questions about the vaccine, what's going to happen after that.
Fuck with that. That's a no-no.
Right. And, they've always been trying to get Tucker out, like this has been like the left's mission for forever, because he just makes them look like idiots, because he's smart, and he asks the right questions, and, he has a big audience, so this whole thing with BlackRock. So BlackRock upped their stake. And everybody knows what BlackRock is. BlackRock's the evil empire company that literally owns everything. This is how they're going to get to, you'll own nothing and be happy, because BlackRock's going to own everything and you're going to have to rent it from them. So BlackRock upped their stake to about 15% in Fox News Corp back in January. And now normally that wouldn't be, okay, whatever, they own a bunch of shit. And now they do this through shells. You're not just gonna be able to go look up BlackRock owns Fox. No, like, they own it through shell companies, but that's a fact. Like, they own that. So they also own a major stake in Dominion Voting Systems. So they literally own a stake in anything major media, anything, they own it. Okay. So now, so what really happened was Fox should have never settled that case. Like, this was a ridiculous case about supposedly that, about Dominion voting systems, that they were asking questions, but supposedly the hosts said off camera that they didn't think it was true, but then on camera said that they thought it was true. That's like, that's ridiculous that's even a thing. It's the First Amendment right to question something, so they use this whole thing to just scare people from ever questioning Dominion again.
And very confusing. Keeps people even wanting to look into it.
All the other hosts never question it. Oh, we can't talk about Dominion. You're going to get sued for $1 billion. Just the same thing they did to Alex Jones. They don't want you asking questions, so they're just going to use these people as examples. So now what happened was, so essentially BlackRock sued itself by Dominion suing Fox and then settled with itself for $700 billion. And now
Control
that's
both sides of the
tax-free.
war.
Right. And that's pretty much a money transfer. That's all that is. And it's a tax-free money transfer. So that's another way to play in as well. So now I'm sure in that settlement, they made something about Tucker. You got to get rid of Tucker, because they settled so fast. That was what was crazy, that they didn't take it to court, nothing. They didn't want to take a shot with a jury. They could have been like, listen, CNN does the same exact thing. Like, what did CNN, how much damage did CNN do to the Trump organization and his hotels by claiming he was a Russian spy? Like, Trump should be able to sue him for, how many billions of dollars then, if that's what we're doing now, which is fine. We're going to go down that road. Let's go down it, so they pretty much sued themselves, settled with themselves in order to get Tucker out. And not only that, they got rid of Dan Bongino too.
What an act.
They couldn't come to terms with that. And now what I think this is all set up because, now Fox is just going to be like CNN. They're going to have a couple people that push back, but no one's going to offer any alternative narratives. They're just going to punch holes in the left's narratives, make fun of the shit, fucking Bud Light, dumb shit, surface shit. Nobody's asking the tough questions. Shit. Yeah. And then so now when they shut this shit down, the internet, because that's coming, that's their last resort.
You think they're going to do that, bro?
I think in some way, somehow, there's going to be a disconnect, either a major censorship thing going on. They're going to start canceling apps like TikTok. Something's going to happen. Too much information is getting out now, and especially before 2024.
And I believe it.
I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but they're going to do something like that. And then people are going to have to turn to cable news. There's not going to be any Tucker Carlson to be there to talk about the hard stuff or ask the questions. And they got to get Tucker out before 2024, because this next election, they're going to throw everything at us. All of the things, there'll probably be another fucking outbreak. There'll probably be another variant. They're going to throw it all at us, because this is it. This is for the
big.
This is it. I'm telling you.
Do you feel another terrorist attack coming in? Maybe war?
I mean, yeah. They're kind of setting that up too. You know what I mean? This is what they do. They get you afraid of so many things that when they do put the thing out, you'll buy it. So now everyone's afraid of a pandemic. So if they just say, everyone's going to buy that. Oh, everyone's afraid of Russia and China. Spy balloons. Oh, there's a bomb. People are going to jump on that. You know what I mean? So now the fear is so heightened in this country about any little thing that they can just give us a little breadcrumb about anything, and we're all going to fucking believe it.
They fine-tuned the propaganda machine. They fine-tuned it to a point where it's such a fucking effective weapon on our brains and lifestyles and fucking everything, our livelihood. Wow.
All they have to do is throw a pebble into that water, and the ripple effect just it goes out. And it's scary, bro. But it's just what's happening. But it just proves that these people are panicking. They are in full panic mode. They are literally kicking and screaming. Let's not forget all of the things that they tried to do. They tried to pack the Supreme Court in the beginning. They wanted to do all these crazy things that they weren't able to do. Okay, so and all these radical judges that didn't make it through. A lot of Biden's picks to head some of these agencies didn't make it through. Okay, so they're just in full panic. We have already won because we have awakened the population. There's no going back to sleep once you're awake. Now that we have this momentum going forward, Trump is only being proven right every single day that passes. It's just another thing Trump was proven right about. And I know people are worried, oh, maybe independents aren't going to vote for him. Yeah, that was before Biden fucking dragged this whole country through the mud and then proved Trump right about everything he accused him of.
Proof.
That was before they knew that the laptop was real. That was before Biden lost 85,000 migrant children. That was before, you know what I'm saying? Before all of these things, before we pulled out of Afghanistan, got 13 Marines killed.
It looked like fucking clouds around the world.
Before Russia invaded Ukraine. Okay, so look at all of these things. It's not going to be hard. Hey, all we have to do is win Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. The red states are going to be red. The blue states are going to be blue. Those are the three that are up for grabs. Now they're already tightening up the mail-in voting in those states, because now we're on offense. Now we know how they stole it last time with the mail-in voting and with the absentee ballots. And now North Carolina just passed voter ID laws. So it looks like
shambles, bro. The world is in shambles. There's fucking wars in the Middle East. There's fucking invasions in Europe.
Sudan, the biolabs in Sudan.
This is insane. And in China, China's fucking patrolling the seas and running into these fucking cargo ships. Ain't fucking around. I'm telling you, everybody got ballsy once fucking Biden came in. And it seems, again, like a very strategic way to get the US, not only the dollar, everything collapse.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It's insane, dog. Make sure you let these people know your final message and your signature sign out, and let them know where they can find you. Flash from Flash_News1 on Instagram. That's right.
Yeah, man. Flashy _News1 on Instagram. Come over there, follow me. My message is just, I keep saying this, but the lines have never been clearer. you know, it's really time, you know, and I know people have loved ones and that they fight with, and, you know, it's all about political, you know, we really have to get through the political stuff and really just drive home the fact that this is good versus evil now. Okay. And, you know, there's right and left. It's one bird, one brain. We have to get through that. It's patience, it's persistence. Godspeed to everybody. I'll see you on Instagram.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you follow him, Flashy_News1, Flashy_News1. If you can't find him because he's censored or shadow banned, you can also find his links on paranoidradio.com under, he has a whole little segment on our fucking website, and you can also find him on special links and special guests on the drop-down menu. Thank you so much, Flashy_News1. You're the fucking man. Thank you so much. Your energy is amazing, dog, and I want to thank you again for spending this time with me, bro.
Always, brother. Anytime, bro.
For sure.
But you